Hi everyone, I'm Chris.
And I'm Darlene,
and this is our story. I was born and raised in St. Thomas, Ontario. I was raised in a Catholic home. My grandparents were both very, very instrumental in my life. My parents were great too, but my grandparents were there through thick and thin, through difficult times that I had when my family hit the rocks and my parents got a divorce. My grandparents were there for me as well, and they were there for me for most of my upbringing.
I was born here in Ottawa, raised here in Ottawa. I come from a very large family. I'm actually the youngest of 11, and I come from a his, hers, and ours, and I'm the ours. And as such, I was the only one born here in Canada. I grew up in a Christian family, and my first sort of church recollection is of the Christian Missionary Alliance Church. It was actually a church that was on Bank Street. When I was around 7 years of age, my parents decided that they wanted more. And so we actually came to Bethel at that point originally. And so I was here as a young child at Bethel. What brought us back to Bethel was actually an answer to prayer. My sister Desiree was getting baptized on the Easter service or during the Easter service, and we had been praying for her for a really, really long time. And so we had determined that we were going to be here no matter what. And so that's why we came back to see her be baptized, to celebrate her and with my brother Bunny, and just have a joyous family moment. And it was at that time we just looked at each other and we just felt like Bethel was home. And we had already been on a journey of trying to find a new home church, just with some transitions that we've gone to. So there was more than one miracle that happened that day. And so that is what brought us back here. And since being back here, I personally have been serving on the collective team, with leading worship.
Me too.
That's true, and with directing vocal group, and I also work with the ladies cell group as one of the leaders there, and just basically anywhere where God puts my hand, I try to serve where I can. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time of being a part of this family.
So I attended University of Windsor with the intention of going into musical theater and getting into performing. And God really got a hold of my heart. I had the opportunity to be part of a Pentecostal church there, and we had a group of friends that all traveled together. We were picked up at the university, brought to the church, and we really were deeply rooted in the things of God. And the pastor there was Pastor Steve Goodry. He really was very instrumental in keeping me on track and bringing me to a deeper understanding of who Jesus was. And during that time, I attended college days at Eastern Pentecostal Bible College and really felt the call of God. It was actually like the speaker was literally reading my mail in front of everyone else there as God was just speaking to my heart and using the story of Moses and how God called Moses. And I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling all of those same emotions. And I submitted my heart and committed my life to serving Him in that capacity. And I did attend Eastern Pentecostal Bible College, where I met Darlene.
As Chris said, we met in Bible college. So my journey there was that as a young girl, I gave my heart to the Lord. I actually decided at school that I was wanting to fully serve Jesus. And it actually came from a moment where I'd said something really, really unkind to someone. And I saw the look in their face and I realized that I had brought that hurt to someone. And having grown up in church, I always felt sort of like I'm already there because my parents and I grew up in it. And I never really thought anything much of it. But that really just seeing that, oh wait, I have that capacity to really be hurtful and vengeful and unkind. And I realized that knowing about God is not enough, that I really need something more. And all along, my parents had been teaching me about the fact that I need to give my heart to Jesus. It's not enough to just go to church. And just in that moment, I really understood it. And so I decided that I was going to go home and talk to my mom mom, and I was going to give my heart to the Lord. So I became a Christian at home with my mom. That was my initial step. But then the following week, here at Bethel, Pastor Stuart Hunter, who was the pastor at the time, when he gave his altar call, he made the statement, a public declaration of your faith. And that really spoke to me. So even though I had given my heart to the Lord, I wanted to make that public declaration and have that accountability to let people know that I really wanted to serve Jesus. And it was a real turning point for me because Pastor Hunter came, sort of sifted through all the people and came to the little kid, and he had prayed with me, and I haven't looked back since.
One thing that we would like to make sure that our church family knows is that God's leading is perfect, even though our circumstances may not be. We, upon graduation from EPBC, it took us a little while to get into ministry, but we had a couple of ministry opportunities that definitely had some challenges. And ministry and serving God is not perfect. It's not easy. It's not, as Pastor Sarah shared a few weeks ago, it's not without trials. And so we went through trials, and the circumstances were tough, but we were not bittered by those things. And we remain very faithful to God. And I'm telling you, He's so faithful to get us through stuff. He's worked things out that we never could. And when He's directed us to take different steps, we followed, and the outcomes were amazing. And so here we are. I'm Chris.
And I'm Darlene.
And
this is our story.